Okay, daily podcast coming to you on May 10th, 2022. I'm actually dropping this a little later than I wanted to. Actually close at 6 p.m. in the evening. But a lot of things I want to talk about here. I'm actually at the pool with my kids as they are. You can hear them screaming back in the background. So I may have to pause a couple times here just in case some crazy shit goes down with my kids because they're pretty wild, 9 and 5-year-olds. You know how it goes. Lots of things on the menu to get to real quick. First and foremost, if I sound kind of like hoarse or sound kind of like not myself, it's because I've had a rough. This has been 10 days now of allergy issues now. Last night I had a major allergy attack. It was horrible. I ended up having to take Zyrtec and Allegra just to kind of stay sane. Then I had another attack this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning where I almost woke my wife while we were sleeping. So it's been a rough 10 days, honestly. Let's let this thing go through. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I had an allergic reaction or something, but my allergies has been, I've always had allergy issues anyway, but these last 10 days have been absolutely horrid for me. My eyes are still issues. Still putting drops in my eyes. It's still a big issue. Just kind of like all that. It's I don't know what it is. I haven't gone to see a doctor yet, but I think I may have to consider that option. I hate going to doctors, but I may not have a choice now than to do that. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that plays out in terms of my health. Because I hate feeling like shit. I hate feeling like this. Okay. Let's run down some of the menu topics here. Things real quick. Folks, I am not a Boston Celtics fan by any stretch of the imagination, but it is time to put some respect on Al Horford's name. He had a dominant game 4 performance against the Bucks as the Celtics tied the series against the Bucks 2 apiece. Al Horford, I think, was at 30 points last night, 8 boards. Al Horford is in his mid-30s. He's way past his prime. I've always been a fan of his game. One of the true good, really good big men in the last decade or so in the league. Obviously he was really good in Atlanta when they were a pretty decent team and whatnot. He had a couple good years in Boston too, first time before he came back again this year. I gotta say, Al Horford has been fantastic. He's been one of the key players of the Celtics run so far, especially now last night when they do it without Robert Williams. Last night, game 4. You thought, okay, you're down 2-1. Robert Williams is not going to play game 4, so the Celtics are screwed. No, Al Horford. And I text this to Mikey B, my buddy. Obviously, Mikey B was on his podcast all the time on his feed of Chase Wrestling, and it was awesome, all that. I texted him earlier before the game and say, watch Al Horford show up. And he did more than I thought he'll do. He showed up and dominated, So that series tied it to a piece. That's going to go best of 3 now. Cannot wait. I still have Bucks in 7, but man, this is turned into the best series in the second round. After I was saying Memphis and Golden State was, now it's Boston and Milwaukee. Speaking of Memphis, they're done now. They had a chance to win last night, tie the series even without John Morant, but a bad performance by Dillon Brooks, bad shot by Jaren Jackson at the end of game 4. Memphis held the lead for the entire game outside the last minute and a half, and they lost the game. Very disappointing, especially not John Morant. They showed up. They had a fantastic game. They had a very good job. They just couldn't pull away, and eventually Steph Curry took over, whatnot. The Warriors now with a commanding 3-1 lead. I think that series goes 6 games, like I said before. I think Memphis, if John Morant plays game 5, which we're hearing that's very possible. I think they'll win game 5, and then Golden State goes out in 6 games at Chase Center. So, but yeah, Memphis is done. I believe. Tom Brady signs a massive media deal with Fox Sports. He'll be an analyst of Fox Sports once he retires, to the tune of, I think it was 10 years, $345 million ago. Let me see the number real quick. Make sure I get it right here. But it was a massive deal. Give me 1 second. I look it up here because, yeah, $375 million, 10 years. It is easily the largest sportscasting contract in history. It's funny. Like, I would never have thought prior to Brady coming to Tampa that he would have a future in media. Because I always found him, as I said, Brady's always been kind of bland and kind of boring, and robotic, playing on a Belichick. Now you've seen Brady outside that bubble now. This is now 2 years past him since leaving New England, and he's won the Super Bowl and whatnot. But what you've seen him with his social media, he's much more open, much more honest, much more authentic, and he's a blast and a joy to watch on social media. So, honestly, I think now that we've seen Brady for who he is now outside the New England bubble, I think he'll do a fantastic job as an analyst on Fox. So yeah, they lose Joe Buck, they lose Troy Aikman, but they get Tom Brady. It's a win for Fox Sports. That's simple. Shaq versus Rudy Gobert. A little bit of a back and forth between these two. Shaq, of course, talking about Rudy Gobert saying he'll be able to stop Shaq, and Shaq says he won't be able to stop him. I don't know what Rudy Gobert's doing, honestly. I know he's rich. He's a very rich man. I mean, Rudy Gobert should be worried about the fact that his team got knocked out in the first round against a team that didn't have their best player for half the series. How about that, Rudy Gobert? Instead of battling with Shaq. And for the record, you would not stop Shaq. Let's be real here. Shaq would dominate you, okay? You're a one-trick pony. I'm like, Rudy Gobert is a very good elite defensive player. But that's all he is, okay? I mean, and this guy's overpaid, in my opinion, okay? Rudy Gobert getting him with Shaq, it's just, I mean, it's funny, but it's also laughable because Rudy Gobert couldn't even shine Shaq's shoes. Like, stop. You're not beating Shaq, okay? Shaq would dominate you, okay? You're not beating Shaq, so stop that. What else? Charles Barkley commented after, commented on fan behavior in the state at games. This is also alludes to what happened with Chris Paul and his family when allegedly some fans were harassing his mother, his wife, his kids, and supposedly touched them. Charles Barkley said basically that athletes should be given 5 minutes with a fan if they want to get physical and want to get mouthy with players. Now, I'm not an advocate for violence, obviously, and I think it's obviously a stretch. But given Charles Barkley and his past and stuff too, I wouldn't mind that. I'm telling you, some of these people, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in pop culture, whatever it is, you've seen the Chappelle thing with the attack coming in there. We'll get to that in a second. You see the thing also with Mike Tyson getting harassed by a guy on the airplane about 2 weeks ago. And Mike Tyson had to fight back. You've seen people get brave now, and it's funny. Like, I'm not saying every athlete's gonna be every single fan, but some of these fans need to learn. They need to learn. They need to know their place. Okay, just because you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go to a basketball game or any sports game for that matter doesn't give you the right to do what the hell you want. Like, you need to watch yourself. So Charles Barkley saying that he should be given 5 minutes to fight a fan. I think it's let's do it. I'm okay with it. Let's do it. If you're that gutsy to do that, and try to punk a player who's 10 times your size, let's see it. Talk is cheap. You can talk shit behind the bench or behind in the stands, but when you approach somebody, this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? So, I thought it was interesting, actually, to be honest with you, that Barkley would say that. The Dallas, Texas mayor allegedly wants a second football team in the city of Dallas. He tweeted this. Eric Johnson, the mayor of Dallas, tweeted this, I think 2 days ago, or yesterday rather. He goes, the answer is, I guess, NFL, actually, this came from a tweet from NFL and CBS when they said on there, if the NFL announced a new expansion team, what city do you think most deserves it? So the mayor, Eric Johnson, tweeted, the answer is Dallas. Why? We are about to pass the Chicago Metro and become the number 3 metro in the United States, which would make us the largest U.S. metro without 2 teams. Football is king here. Dallas needs an expansion team, and we would be able to sustain 2 NFL teams better than L.A. and New York. Now, that part, I actually agree with that. I think Dallas would actually be able to do that. But the problem is, it's never going to happen. You know why? The Dallas Cowboys alone is probably the biggest brand in NFL, period. So you don't really need 2 teams. You can have 2 teams, whatever. But that you just know that if you had a second team in Dallas, just know that that team would never gain traction because the Cowboys are not only obviously the biggest thing in that state, it's the biggest thing in the NFL. You may love or hate the Cowboys, but the reality is the Cowboys are the biggest brand in that league, period, in discussion. This is a team that has not won a Super Bowl in 26 years and still gets the most attention. The fact that they get they get topics on ESPN on a regular basis in the off season. And to me, the Dallas Cowboys, as I said on the podcast a couple months ago, they're not even that interesting. And yet they still get more attention than any other team because they are the biggest brand in the NFL. Just that simple. So, while it's a great point by the mayor of Dallas, the truth is the second team would not get much traction because honestly, the Dallas Cowboys are the biggest brand there, and honestly, it's almost like a lost cause. Like they'll probably get some traction, but Dallas Cowboys, it will never be on the level of the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys is the biggest brand, not just in that city, not in that state, but in arguably the biggest brand in all sports. I mean, the only teams you can consider as big as the Dallas Cowboys really in another sport is probably the Yankees and the Lakers. That's it. I mean, that's it. Or maybe the Red Sox. That's it. So, but we'll see what happens there. By the way, breaking news here. As I was mentioning about mentioning the Ja Morant and the Grizzlies and stuff about Game 5. Breaking news here. Ja Morant MRI reveals a bone bruise in Morant's right knee, and he is doubtful for the remainder of the playoffs. So, never mind. Warriors in 5. Warriors in 5. What else here on the docket before I get out of here? These kids are really, really loud. I checked out the podcast I did earlier today. I just dropped. Football's awesome. Our off-season stuff continues. We do like once every few weeks, maybe once a month, whatever. We actually ranked all 16 AFC quarterbacks today on the podcast. It actually was a really good podcast. It was me, myself, Mikey B, Kyle Nash doing the game. Of course, the degenerate himself, Zach. It was great. 1 hour and 15 minutes of back and forth. It was fantastic roundtable. Check it out. You get a chance. It's also not just on the podcast feed. It's also on the YouTube, Earnestly Media YouTube channel. Just look for it under the Football's Awesome playlist. It was a great episode. If you want to know the rankings, I have there real quick. There was some really controversial takes there because who's number one? I had Pat Mahomes number one, Josh Allen number two, and Joe Burrow number three. But we actually got a lot of content on this too because there's a lot of controversy about even on the bottom of the list. So check out the rankings if you get a chance. It's really interesting stuff. It's not just me; it's also all three guys also ranking the quarterbacks as well too. Donald Trump might be returning to Twitter. According to Elon Musk, he has said that he will unban Donald Trump's Twitter ban or suspension or whatever ban, whatever. If indeed he becomes officially the official CEO for Twitter. Honestly, I already said in the past that Donald Trump in the Twitter thing, honestly, it's been kind of quiet the last 2 years, year and a half, 2 years since getting banned on Twitter. I had, as I said back then too, I had mixed feelings about Trump being banned in general on Twitter. But again, Twitter is a private company, so again, if they choose to ban even the President of the United States, so be it. That's their right. It is interesting though, they do have other the Ayatollah of Iran on there too, and the Taliban has Twitter accounts there, but Donald Trump's not allowed to have one there. I mean, I'm not saying that I want Trump there, or I don't have an opinion on that, but at the same time, it's like some of the conservative talking points about Trump not being, how it's not fair for Trump to be off Twitter, does have some points. It does have some certain points here. I'm not saying whatever it is. Now, this is what I will say about Donald Trump being on Twitter, though. Politically, this might be better for Donald Trump to stay off Twitter. If you're a Democrat, in my opinion, you want Trump on Twitter, because the thing is, you could argue that Twitter has been the lasso, because even if Trump did anything good, it's masked by the fact that he's just so loud and has so much bravado that it masks all the potential even good he would have done, whether it's policy, whatever it may be. So if you're a Democrat, you want Donald Trump on Twitter, because you know what? It gives the opportunity for him to say the wrong thing, because he likes, Donald Trump is, he's a mouth. He likes to talk. So I think politically speaking for him, if he chooses, and look, I still think he will not run for president in 2024. I think he'll hang. I'll say it again. He'll hang it over his head for another up until the last minute, and then he'll say no. I'm not gonna run anymore. But if Donald Trump is going to run for president, honestly, I think Twitter is actually, him not being on Twitter is actually a good thing for him. Okay, because it gives him the opportunity not to say the stupid thing on Twitter, and it will actually. But him saying dumb thing on Twitter, it'll actually alienate more moderate voters who may vote Republican because they're not happy with Joe Biden. As I said too, also with Joe Biden, one of the reasons why I think he did well in his election, aside from Trump also doing what he did and COVID, Joe Biden not campaigning in a normal campaign season because of COVID helped him, because it limited the amount of gaffes he would have had this had been a normal 2020 election. So just saying that, I think Donald Trump, if you're a Donald Trump fan, you want him to run for president, you want him off Twitter. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, that's okay. All right, what else before I get going here? Mike Tyson will not face any charges from his scuffle on the airplane a couple weeks ago. I just mentioned a little earlier, as he shouldn't, because the video's there. The guy was always harassing him, and that guy got what he deserved, all that. I don't give a shit. And that's just that. The right move was made there. Dave Chappelle, once the charges filed against the attacker from his performance last week at the Hollywood Bowl in California. To me, I was livid when I found out that he was only getting a misdemeanor. The guy had a fake gun and a knife in the fake gun. Like, what are we doing here? Let's be consistent here. Dave Chappelle should go and check that guy charged. I don't give a shit why he was doing it. I don't give a shit his mental health. I don't give a crap. He was conscious enough to go on the stage and try to attack someone, okay, with a weapon, and he deserved what he got, and he should be drawn felony charges. End discussion. Be consistent. I don't give a shit, red, blue. I don't give a shit what state it is, city, whatever. Be consistent. He should be charged with a felony. End of discussion. So, anyway, that's it for me today on today's daily. I'll get back on this tomorrow, hopefully. Again, I'm on Twitter at EgyptChris7. Hope you guys enjoy all the content we've been dropping on this feed lately. Like I said, I'm going to be doing, I said we dropped was awesome today. I'm recording a In the Paint podcast with Zach and Chris later tonight at the conclusion of the Heat game. Go Heat, obviously. Hopefully they win tonight. I'm very worried. I'm very scared. I'll probably do obviously have a reaction to that game. We'll be recording during the middle of the Phoenix, Game 5 of Phoenix and Dallas, which is obviously now turned into a great series. So, see you guys later. Love you guys. Take care. And stay up. Stay positive. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Be kind. Love you guys. Take care. See ya.